This is Zach Reid. This is my presentation for agents of socialization and how they have affected my life. First, we'll talk about my family. Um, they are the first agent of socialization that I came in contact with. My parents are married. They're still married to this day. I have one sister, and my family's not like most people's family. They're extremely religious. I know that there's a lot of other families that are very religious. Mine was very religious and still are to this day. My dad's dad was an orphan, so his family is basically non-existent today. On my mother's side, however, we have a large family and it's very close. We get together every month and have cookouts and dinners and things of that nature. And my whole life, we've done those things. And being religious, my family actually founded a church about 25 years ago called Redemption Road Church. And my grandparents on my mom's side founded that church, and my uncle became the pastor, and he's still a pastor this day. They also own and operate a Christian school, which I attended until I graduated. So typically, these three agents of socialization, being family, church, and school, would be three separate agents. But for me, I like to call it the Holy Trinity because they were actually all three in one for me. Because, see, my family started the church started the school, the church was ran by my family, and so was the school. So in church, I was surrounded by family. In school, I was surrounded by family. But also in my family, at family dinners and things like that, I was still surrounded by my church as well. So there was really no separation between the three of those things. Next, we'll talk about my peer limitation. And because of the Holy Trinity, as I like to call it, my peer group was very limited. My chances of meeting new people was almost impossible because the school that I went to only had about 25 to 30 students at any given time. When I graduated high school, I graduated with four other people. So a lot of the people that went to my school were actually members of my church as well. Some of them were actually my family members as well. And with there only being 25 to 30 people, I really didn't get the opportunity to meet other friends and primarily to meet people that had separate beliefs than I did. Withdrawal from the media. The reason I say this is because growing up, my family's outlook on the media was quite negative. They believed that the media was primarily ran by the far left liberals and that media was basically a negative influence on your life. So I didn't really gain anything from mass media. But once I became older, an older teenager, I began to, I guess, become more influenced by media as I actually could watch the things that I wanted to and pay attention to them. Because, like I said, as a child, mass media just wasn't something that we paid attention to or watched. That goes along with regular television shows, cartoons, anything of that nature. There were many, many television shows, cartoons, movies that I was not allowed to watch as a kid because it went against the religious beliefs of my parents and my family. So, the elephant and the donkey. As I state in this slide, my government views were dictated early on by the religion of my family. They were far right, everyone in my family. There's no Democrat, no liberal in my family whatsoever. Um, my church's belief basically was that the far left liberals, they were sinners, basically. They had poor morals. My family is pro life, and obviously the far left isn't, and that was a huge issue um, in my church, and still is to this day. They're still pro-life, and they basically believe that if you are liberal, then you're not a Christian. So, if there was any one agent of socialization that impacted my beliefs, morals, norms, and day to day life, it would be religion. And when I say that, religion was the foundation of my family, everyone in it, the church, the school that I went to. Every choice you made was based on your religion. Um, Even what TV shows you watch, where you go in public, if you watch a movie or not, it's all dictated by religion. But as a teenager, I began to go against the grain. I began to form my own beliefs and views of the world. To my family, this was unacceptable. Um, Going against the grain was something that not many of my family members ever done or would ever do. It was basically closed minded, and you believe what you were taught growing up and nothing else. You were unable to form your own beliefs, your own views, your own religious opinion. Um, so that was unacceptable when I began to really venture out on my own and try to find out for myself what was really out there and what I really believed in. Self awareness. After pretending to be someone other than myself for most of my life, I finally began to venture out and discover who I really was. For the majority of my life, I would say I put on a mask and pretended to be someone that my family wanted me to be, that my church wanted me to be, um, that reflected well on my family. See, my family believes strongly in the views of other people. They believe as Christians they should act as so that they are Christian. They should be more Christ like. They should be able to look at other people, and when they meet, they should automatically know that they're a Christian. Um, so the viewpoint and the opinion of others is very important to my family. They want others to believe that they're holy and that they are living a good life, as they say, with good morals. Um, so once I began to really figure out who I was, it was easier said than done. There was a lot of hard times, and the road was pretty rocky to self awareness and self discovery. Um, I began to experiment when I was about 16 years old with drugs, marijuana, alcohol. But at 18, I began taking pain pills. And long story short, before I knew it, I was addicted to heroin. And I spent 5 years in addiction before I was able to get out of it. I signed myself up for treatment. I went to treatment long term. And during that time, during the 8 months that I was in rehab, I really began to become self aware. I really began to discover who I truly was as a person. And that person was very different than the other people in my family. That person was not the same as them. I guess you could say I was the black sheep of my family. Obviously, doing drugs goes against not just, your family's morals and informal norms, but also formal norms. Obviously, it's illegal to use drugs, and that's frowned upon by society. Um, but once I got clean, I was still going against the norms of my family. I was a new person, you could say. Um, but that's the time that I really, really began to find out who I am, and I began to see myself in a new way and form my own beliefs. And I am who I am today because of recovery, because of going to treatment. I became self aware there and formed my beliefs there. As AA states, you find a power of your own understanding. And that's pretty much all. Thank you.